why she's bothering you with that now. And you
Well,
can't do anything about it.
I had told her yesterday that she ended up with.
Yeah, I know. If you go all the way back to the beginning, who wanted chickens?
She said she got them from Dad.
She didn't. She wanted chickens. It was her idea.
Dad wanted them too.
But who taught? That wasn't his idea. You know, she said, Gramps, I think we should get chickens. And he just said, okay, Kelly. You know how that went down. He didn't go, Kelly, can we bring chickens? That's what I mean about the power of suggestion, right? But she'll twist it around and make it seem like, oh no, that was for Gramps. No, it wasn't. She wanted chickens. She spoke to Gramps and she made sure she got the damn chickens that she wanted. And now that she got the chickens that she wanted, she doesn't want to take care of them all the time to make you do it. And then the one day you go to do something for yourself, she's going to try to guilt trip you in. The chicken died while you were gone. How dare you go see an eclipse? That's what I'm talking about. Like, these are your fucking chickens. Shut up. You can go and take care of one for one of these damn days. You're the one that brought them into the house. And that's what I'm talking. That's what she does. It's little things, but you don't want to see it. Somebody did that shit to me, I would call bullshit on them. Like, that's why her and I fight, because I'm like, you know that's bullshit. Don't pull that on me. I don't let her do it to me. And as soon as I call her out on it, what does she do? She tries to gaslight me and everybody else around me and say, well, you didn't do this. She has to bring up shit from 20 years ago. Like, yeah, but you got drunk one time when you were like, 21. Like, okay, so did you. What now? Yeah, but I turned to Jesus and you didn't. Okay, whatever. We both have freedom of religion in the United States. What else next? Like, but people listen to her shit. Well, you're possessed by the devil and sick, and I'm not. That's all you got. You're right, I am. You should be very scared of me. Run away. Leave me alone.
This is very good. And I got pickles. Oh, that's a tomato. Sorry.
You know the kind of people who tells other people they're possessed by the devil? People who are possessed by the devil.
I'm feeling in that.
But go back historically. What did they do during the 1500s, or like the Salem witch trials and stuff? They told people that they were, in the that's a witch. That's a warlock.
I texted her and I told her we'll be home as soon as we can, and I feel real bad about it. I will pray for her like I always have been. Yeah, I'm not telling you to rush. I'm just wanting you to be prepared. Have a good evening.
See, passive aggressive. That's what I'm saying. Is let it be. Don't keep engaging.
I'm deleting it now, so if she texts me again, I'm not going to get it anyway. So. Not very sure. Just like she told me she was going to help me clean out the coop, because I can't hold the bag and throw the stuff away, but I managed to do it yesterday. Of course, she has complained that I don't clean it enough. clean every single day. Except I don't clean the bottom part. Because that's where they're tight. Or bottom man, or whatever you want to call it.
If it was the other way around, and you had said, I'll help you on Friday with it, and you didn't show up, she'd have raised holy hell. But if she tells you, I'm going to help you, and she doesn't show up, it's always, I'm sorry, I'm very busy, and then you just have to deal with it. Because her time is more valuable than your time. So what is that? From break that down, if that was a friend, acquaintance, guy around the block, right? What are they telling you? That I don't respect your time. I respect my time. So I don't value you as an equal or an individual or a person or a family member or whatever. If my time is more important than you, then I am more important than you. That's what that means. There's a hierarchy here. This and then that. And you're under that. It's as simple as that. That's why I keep saying, like, you see it, you know it, but that's your cognitive dissonance kicking in, going, no, I'm only going to see the good. I see that and go, I'm gonna be the same way she is. It's not trash, like food in here. And I go, no, my time is equal to yours. Fuck you. And if you don't respect that, don't come fucking talking to me. That's why we don't get along, because I treat her exactly the same way she treats me. And she hates it. And of course she does, because everyone hates the way she treats them. It's just that the rest of you keep forgiving and putting it to the side and ignoring it and rationalizing it. I just don't. Because I wouldn't do that I don't do that to any of you. And you guys treat me worse than you treat her, which is funny. That's what I mean about relationships, right? The asshole gets treated best. It's like in a women's relationship, right? You're like, well, why would you treat the nice guy worse? Look at me and Kelly. I don't do half the shit to you guys that Kelly does, and you treat her better. She's like the man who abuses you, and you love her for it. And I'm the nice guy who's like, hey, do you feel sick? Please go see a doctor. And you're like, wow, he really is sweet. You know what? Fuck him. It's real life in action. And it really makes me think, like, oh crap, maybe I should be an asshole to everybody in the family too, and it'll work out just like it does in relationships. Like, maybe that's really what all of you want.
I don't think I should.
If, like I said, came down to Kelly or me, choose Kelly every time. You choose the person that fucks with you rather than the one that doesn't.
No, I would pick both of you.
There's no, you can't though. There is no picking, but we're diametrically opposite sides of a war in which only one is going to survive. You can't pick both. That's like saying, I pick Hitler and the United States in World War II. You can't. If one side murdered fucking Jews, the other side is coming to kill the people who murdered the Jews. Like, you're with us or against us. That's it. You can't be neutral. Like it's extremely personal. It's beyond any realm of, of coming back from the shit that's happened. It's unforgivable war crimes at this across the way. Everything that you can do to a person in every stage of life. So you can't. You can say, well, all right, maybe she yells. Okay, explain the physical abuse. Okay, sometimes she gets violent. And she yells. Okay, explain the sexual abuse. Cool with that? There was sexual. Well, I wasn't there. I don't really know. Okay, that's fine. Explain the fact she doesn't like take care of anybody or send them to the doctors when they need to and whatever, and we choose to pray rather than give them fucking medication, which if you look up federal law is illegal. That's what I mean about you not knowing law. There's a woman spending 30 years in jail right now for doing the same thing. She was an influencer for how to take care of your kids. She was doing YouTube videos saying, you know, this is how you raise kids and whatever, and telling them, you know, giving advice to people. And then they went her home and they found out that they were sick and they had wounds and stuff in her body. And instead of taking them to the doctor, she was like, they asked the kids, well, how come your wrists are a certain way or whatever? And she goes, well, I did this to myself. And like, what do you mean you did it to yourself? And they go, well, I'm possessed. I have demons in my body. We're praying them out. And my mom's taking care of me. And then they asked the mom, and the mom's like, well, I'm doing natural healing. I don't like to go to doctors. Oh, well, that sounds very familiar. Who else does that? And they were like, well, what's this being treated with? And she was like, it's honey, and it's cayenne pepper. It's all this stuff that it'll stop the bleeding. It coagulates the wound. It's all natural, and honey will stop the infections. I don't need to go to a doctor and get antibiotics for this. So we're praying, and I'm using natural healing. That's my religious right to do that. They took the kids from her and they put her in prison. It's like, no, you can't. You can kill them. Because number one, kids don't have informed consent. Just like an elder who is 91 years old, like Gramps, does not have informed consent. Because he doesn't understand everything the doctor is saying. There's no difference between the two cases. Says I can't breathe, you take him to the hospital. You don't pray. That's a crime.
She did take him to the doctor.
The first time.
She took him to the doctor 3 times.
When did he go 3 times?
First she saw his wife.
He went in late February, like the 27th or 28th. He went.
He went in April. Not April.
Not April, because he didn't make it there.
March. Same.
He went. What day in March?
I don't remember exactly what day, but I know it was a Thursday. That's all I remember.
Was it like the first week or whatever? Like right after the first visit?
I think so. Yeah.
Like March 5th, maybe 3rd, 4th, something in there. Early, right?
I know it was a Thursday.
Because he died on the 18th.
I know.
So it wasn't the 11th. It was early.
It was earlier.
The first week of March.
Probably. But she also talked to the doctor in between those dates too.
And then in the third time, he didn't leave the house the last week.
No, but I'm saying she had talked to the doctor in between February and that Thursday appointment.
Yeah, she called him on the phone maybe.
Right, and she talked to the doctor because Grace was too sick to go to the doctor.
But the doctor didn't see him.
No.
The doctor only saw what Kelly told him, which is up for interpretation.
Well, I was there when she talked to him.
And so, the last time he went, because he didn't go, if he died on the 18th, he didn't go from the 11th to before the 11th. Or after the 11th, I'm sorry. So all his visits were before the 10th, basically. So he got sick like the I don't know when he actually got, because he may have had an incubation period
a couple of days
or whatever.
After, or maybe 2 or 3 days after Dr. Salmon's appointment, which was April.
February. You have it all written down, and there's only so many days. He didn't get sick before that. He wasn't even sick.
2 or 3 days after he went to Dr. Salmon.
What day did you go to Salome?
It was a Tuesday. It was either February 9th or February 10th, somewhere around there.
You're saying that happened early in the month.
Yeah.
So he was sick from February 10th to the 27th, which is 17 days throughout February, which is 2
sick.
weeks.
He was sick a couple days after he went to Barbara's house. But
Okay, 2 weeks, whatever. 14 days, 17 days. That's semantics. But the first time I saw him sick was the 27th or the 28th, which was the end of the month.
Right.
That's already 2 weeks later.
Right.
Okay, that's the day that Kelly came in and had the conversation with him and said, oh, and her exact words were, because she spoke to him and then she spoke to me, and she, wait, do I have to, okay, I don't have to change here. Is that a stop sign? Yes. But her exact words to him were, oh, we got to get you on antibiotics. And then she said, oh, I'm sorry, Gramps, I'm a doofus. You know what? You need to call me doofus or whatever and remind me about these things, because I didn't get you antibiotics. And I need to remember and go down there to get you antibiotics, whatever.
But he already had the antibiotics in the house.
So
he was already taking antibiotics. He had originally said, his wife said, no.
Whose wife? What are you talking? Who's the wife that you keep mentioning?
Dr. Whitman's wife. They work in the same office.
Are they both doctors?
Yes. Kelly told Dr. Whitman on the phone that she started giving Gramps antibiotics. And he says, well, I'm going to send you another one because I want you to take it for 14 days instead of 7 days. So he was already on the antibiotic already.
Yeah, but which antibiotic was it?
Cipro.
That was the same antibiotic he was taking later.
Yes.
Because he took Cipro to the end.
Yes.
But he took 14-day cycle of Cipro.
Right. He took Cipro. He took beyond breathing treatments.
Yeah. I know.
Okay. And besides his other medication.
In the original 14 days, okay, because she said, I don't know if it was COVID or whatever it was, like, apparently nobody knew what it was that he got.
Right.
And it's like, I don't know how, because you can take blood work and you can get bacterial sample. Like, I worked in pathology. I know how they do it. So once you have the blood sample, there's going to be bacteria in his blood, and you're going to know right away what it is. And you look for virus, and you're going to find out what it is. If not, he coughs or whatever, you get a swab, neck, mouth, whatever, and then you take a culture, and then the culture goes in, and you test the culture for whatever it was, because he had fluid in the lungs. And you can even drain fluid and test the fluid and find out what it is. So there's a couple of ways to get it, but it's going to be in the body if he's affected by blood, fluid, sputum, so that's up to the doctor to figure out. So the whole time you're dealing with the doctor, not one person finds out exactly what this is. So it could have been a bacteria, or it could have been a virus. And from what you're telling me already, nobody knows which one it is. So you're being given an antibacterial. But if it's a virus, the antibacterial won't work. But there was no antiviral treatment. So right here, we already have a fuck up, and nobody's covering it. And then he keeps complaining about, well, I can't breathe, and then the Cipro doesn't work. So we go through 14 days, and he's worse off.
He's not taking the breathing treatments.
Okay, but if it's viral and it's getting worse, and you're not your first time, when they could have used they could have comboed, they could have used gentamicin, they could have used vancomycin. There's a lot of other medications that are out there. I don't know what he's allergic to, if he's allergic to penicillin, like we are. I don't think the rest of the family is, which goes back to another thing about, genetics. But I don't think he's allergic to penicillin. So, do you know if he is?
No, as far as I know, he was
he's not. Okay, so that's what I mean. He could have taken that.
Also, Dr. Whitman wanted him to be on hospice too, so that's why Kelly got hospice involved.
Well, Kelly doesn't want him in the hospital anyway.
Not hospital.
You were repeating what I'm saying in different words. She doesn't want him in the hospital anyway because she doesn't want anybody to go in the hospital because she wants them under her complete care because she wants to supervise everything for better or for worse. So when the doctor says hospice, I don't know how much of that's the doctor or how much of that's Kelly suggesting once again to the doctor, like, you know, hey, we need chickens. Because that means that she's like, I'm going to take care of my father, blah, 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 blah. And he's like, fine, you know what? Hospice is probably best for you. So guess what? The doctor suggested hospice. So he's not in the hospital. He's not being monitored. So if something happens and we could easily do a chest x-ray, guess what? He can't get a chest x-ray that he might need it because he's at the fucking house. So when they come in and they can take a blood test or whatever and get a viral, guess what? He's at the fucking house. So meanwhile, he's sitting there the whole time, and the solution could be one test away, but he's at the fucking house. That's my point. If it was me in charge, I don't see how he dies. I don't see any way that he dies. Is it 100% guaranteed? No, nothing in life is. But I already have like 3 fucking answers that I was like, nah, like that. No, that doesn't make sense. That doesn't make sense either, and that doesn't make sense either. Because if you do A, B, and C, you have viable options that would have been quick and easy, and he would have never gotten that far. He wouldn't have ever made it to the 27th. I would have already had a viral option for him done by if he was sick as early as the 10th, 11th, 12th, 13th, I would have found out. I would have said, send it to the lab, get it to KWB, bring it back to me, because I know you can put a rush on it. It'll be done in 24 hours, and by the 15th or 16th, I'm going to know if it's bacterial or viral, and then let's fucking work on it. You can give me the antibiotics in the meantime, and if it's not, we'll still run them, and we'll run an antiviral at the same time. We'll do something else. And if we're right, we're right. If we're wrong, we're wrong. We'll change tactics, but there's no reason to keep him on antibiotics, because now we're killing all the good bacteria in his gut, and the good bacteria is what helps your immune system. It's 70% of your immune system. And if you have the guy on antibiotics, and you kill off the good bacteria, and his gut isn't working, that's 70% of what would be fighting the viruses out of his body, which means you're just sentencing him to death for no reason by prescribing antibiotics to a person who doesn't need them. And how do I know this? Because I fucking worked the job. That's what I'm saying. But when you have somebody who's a high school flunky who wants so badly to take care of her father that she needs absolute control of everything, and she doesn't know medicine, that's why you have a man dead. You can say, oh, she meant well. I have bullshit. It's control. I don't need to have the control. I don't care if I'm right or wrong. I'm just making the correct decision. There's a difference between that. You can talk to me all day long about what happened, who, what, why, where, and when. I know the fucking facts. Just like we saw the eclipse and all this other stuff, I know what I saw what I saw, I know what medicine was given when, and I read the reports, and I know how they treat these things, and I know what goes where. And he wasn't given what he was supposed to be given when he was supposed to be given it. Steps were missed. Mistakes were made. And nobody said anything because everybody's afraid to fucking question her. And if you're so fucking afraid to talk to somebody about something to the point where a man dies, what does that say about that person? Because hell, I came in there just to freaking give his pulse ox, and she's screaming. Remember that time she had the camera on us, and I came in there to do the pulse ox, right? And he was like, what's my blood oxygen level? So I went and got it, and you got the batteries, you put it in, and I was going to go put it on there. She said, get the fuck away from him. She didn't want us next to him. She didn't want me near him because she knew damn well if I felt he might have been in the middle of a medical emergency, he could have died right there. But none of us were supposed to touch him because we had to wait on you. He could have died right there. How do he said he doesn't feel good and his oxygen was low. But we never got a reading. We never found out because you had to scream. Because it had to be you. So we had to wait, what, 20, 30, 40 minutes for you to come home and you took it? What if he'd have died right there? Who's liable? Her. She would have gone to jail right fucking then. That's my point. She's guilty. That right there is fucking guilt. If you can't see it, I don't know what to tell you. She made sure none of us touched him while he was asking for fucking care. And it's not the first time. How many times has it happened with Grammy and him? This is a pattern. That's criminal. It's not seeing the good in people. It's knowing what medicine works, knowing who wants what. He's in charge. If he says, give me the fucking Botox, I don't feel good, you do it. You don't wait for her to get home. That's when I told you. That's when I called you over. I said, today's the day. It's happening. And you're like, oh, I don't want to talk about it. Yeah. You brushed it off. And now there's a dead man. No, I'm never going to let it go. Because I know what happened. Doesn't matter if he's related or not. He still raised you. It should bother you a lot more.
It does.
But you're still friendly, little, talky with her. Like it's okay. And I saw it coming. I hate to be like I told you so, but I saw it coming years ago. I mean, you were in the room when her and I had the big fight in front of Gramps. Because remember, I went outside. He told me to get, what was it, paper towels or something from the front room, and to the very front, you know what I'm saying? And I went out there, and she came in the house, and she goes, you need to get the fuck out of that room and not touch his stamps or whatever the fuck. And I was like, what are you talking about, stamps? Like, number one, they're not even in this room. Number two, I'm only out here because Gramps told me to come out here and get towels or whatever, you know what I'm saying? Number three, you don't fucking live here. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, and don't come in the house when you don't know what's going on and then just start screaming. So I came out, we got in an argument, and I told her, you don't need to fucking talk to me that way, I'm not going to put up with this shit. We got into a screaming match. You sat there, did nothing. Graham sat there, did nothing. I, of fucking course, defended the correct fucking defense to have. And then she left, and then I went up to Gramps and I said, did you hear her, how she yelled as soon as she came in the door? No hello, no nothing. She didn't ask what I was doing, where I was doing it, and I said, it's all because you're the boss of this house. That's your daughter, you own the house, and you told me to go outside and did you not ask me to go outside and do that for you? He was like, yeah. And I said, and I listened to you. I did what you asked me to do, and she's yelling at me for it. Why didn't you just say, Kelly, I told him to do that? That's all you had to do, and it would have gone away. That's your daughter. You're the boss. So apparently, according to her, she listens to you, but that's not what happens. She disrespects you because you're the one that gave the order, and she's shitting on your order. Why do I have to take the abuse by listening to you? And he was like, well, for the first time, he was like, you know what, that's a good point. Like, I did tell you to go outside, and she shouldn't have yelled at you because I told her to go outside. So when she came back over the next time, he said, Kelly, I told Chris to go out early, and as soon as he got like the 3 words out of his mouth, she goes, no, don't you defend him. Don't you ever fucking defend him. If you do, I swear to God, if you defend him, I'll cut you off. I will not fucking take you out. No doctor's appointments. I'm not going to cook for you. Nothing. What do you hear right there? And then you acted like you didn't hear. We were all witnesses to it. And she screamed and yelled so loud until everybody backed the fuck down except me. And I was in the other room. I was in the bathroom when I heard it. And I came out and I pressed record on my phone. And I walked out and I had my record on. And I said, what the fuck did you just say to Gramps? And we got into it. And she said it again. I said, you just told that man you were going to cut him off because he's doing the right thing in his house defending me. And she says, that's right. Damn right. If it's for you, damn right. And I got it on fucking tape. That's why ever since that day I've been like doubly up to her, because I'm like, you just admitted to a fucking felony, you dumb slut bitch. And you were witness to it, and he's witness to it. Everybody was witness to it on camera. You were in his face telling him, don't you ever defend me. And if you do, I will fucking break you. Like, that's what she said to him. You won't have food. You won't go out. Who tells a 90-year-old man you won't have food? And then when I said, Karen, you heard that, right? You were like, no, I didn't hear anything. That's not what the tape's going to show. So either, I don't know if you heard it or not, but she's yelling it really loud and you're choosing to put your head in the sand. You know, it still doesn't look good. They're going to wonder what the fuck is going on in the Heckard household that she can yell at an old man and you're in the next room. And I have to come out from the bathroom to protect my father while you're in the closer room and did nothing about it. That's what I mean when I say if I go to court with that shit, what's the fucking answer? You know, it happens all the time. I just don't really pay attention to it. She really comes across like a nice person. She doesn't really ever yell at me. Oh, bullshit? Like I don't have that on tape? That's what I mean. Yes, I have that on tape. Like, come on. Shit, I gotta fucking turn. Like, she's so fucked from 7 ways from sideways. For multiple fucking felonies. That's why I'm like, what do you need? Is this right or wrong? You told me to turn. Whatever. They look and they're gonna be like, what the fuck's wrong with this household? What do they do to that guy? What are they doing to you? Like, you gotta do this every day. I feel so fucking bad for you. And then they ask you questions like, are you cool with this? And if not, like, why are you not saying anything? And then if you're not saying anything, it's gotta be because you're scared. If you're scared, please talk to us. You're safe here. You know? That's what I mean. You're like, well, I'm not gonna pick a side. You have no choice. It's already being fucking investigated. It's moving forward, no matter what. She's under investigation for fucking murder. Right fucking now. Do you not understand that? The cops have already been called multiple fucking times. They know everything. Lawyers are involved, the whole fucking nine. There's a point of no return. That line has been crossed. All the secrets and confessions of the family have been laid out there for everyone to know. Like I said. So people need to go and say, you know what? I'm gonna go to my grave and, you know, whatever it is, and say, I went down defending this person or whatever, or I'm gonna wake up and realize I was on the wrong fucking side. But the time for fucking sitting around and sticking your head in the sand and pretending like, I'll go another day, I'll go another day, I'll go another day. There's no other days. This whole, hi Kelly, whatever Kelly, you know, like not hard to, you know. So she ends up guilty, then that's it. Now you just fucked yourself and went with her. That's why I don't have a problem telling you. Because all the chess pieces are laid out on the board the way that they are. Tried to teach you chess. I told you, I only make a move when I have a checkmate. I have a checkmate on the board. I'm going to win. I've been playing her shit since I was 14 years old. Took me 29 years to line the checkmate up. I sat patiently. I waited. I played her stupid fucking game as long as I had to. I stayed alive and kept quiet, kept my mouth shut, and played the long game, hoping that I would just one day justice would prevail. And then I got her. And now it's just a matter of time. The trap is closing. And history is written by the winners. I will write the final chapter to her fucking thing. When she is buried and dead in the ground, I'm going to get to piss on her grave, not the other way around. It's not going to say Kelly, loving mother, and all that bullshit. It will say, here lies a fucking murderer, a piece of shit. The worst kind of person. Her kids are going to have to come to terms with it. The rest of the family is going to have to come to terms with it. They're going to have to figure out why the fuck they sat by all those years. They're going to have to say, that's going to be cognitive dissonance for them, going, shit, I listened to all of her stories the whole time. They're going to have the same fucking interview that everyone else has when they're like, you know, I think she was capable of it. She went to church every day and like, really? Really? You know, did you ever, you know, call and speak or check up on anyone else there or whatever? No, we weren't really close to, you know, Chris or anybody else there. Oh, so I get it now, you know. She isolated everyone else, and then that's how it works. That's what they do. Divide and conquer. I even quoted the statues, the exact Florida statues. I said, these are the statues that were broken at this particular time. Quoted them to you, I quoted them to her, I quoted them to Gramps at one point in time. Like, I mean, it's funny how, like, you know, somebody, like, if I were to come home, like, or if somebody were to come home in the family and, I don't know, committed burglary, they'd be like, you broke the law, you know, you can't do that, you know, you fucked up, and now we gotta get a lawyer, and we could have spent all this money on your lawyer, you know, like when I had that one DUI that one time, they were like, oh, it's a terrible thing you did, and now we spent all the money, and if we hadn't spent that money on your lawyer, and you know what, you could have had it for a house, and like they made me like act like I did like the worst fucking thing in the world, you know, because like, oh, you know, even though like all the charges were dropped and blah blah blah, you know, like, but still, it was like, you still got charged with the crime, and even though like with the domestic violence, like I was the victim, but because I was the one that got charged, it was like I fucked up. Like, and they'd be like, no, you're the fuck up, because you got charged. All I did was, I didn't even commit a crime. I just got charged, and I would fuck up for my whole life. Oh, he always gets in trouble. See, he's a troublemaker, always getting in trouble. Like, how about be happy I'm alive, you dumb bitches? You know, but no. They're more mad about that. And you actually have a real criminal in the fucking house. And this is cool. This is just what we know of. You know, like the secrets that get uncovered and whatnot. Like, oh shit, we didn't even realize that this guy was cheating on this one, or whatever happened. Like, who the fuck knows what else has happened? To whom, what, where, why, and when. We don't even know a lot of it. There's always been demons and secrets everywhere with everyone in this fucking family. And even the shit that's fucking right there, everyone's just like, whatever. But somebody tries to hurt me and I'm the bad guy. Now, can't do that now. Can't almost get stabbed to death. So I mean, the double standards. I mean, she can come in every day and punch somebody in the face, scream and yell, or threaten you, take away your food, but you can't date somebody who's mean. It's okay for us to have one family member that's worse than any of your girlfriends. Don't associate with those kind of bad people. We just want to let one worse in the house every day. The hypocrisy. It always reminds me of the phrase, like, the devil's greatest trick is making you think that they don't exist, but they're not there. She's the devil. She's right in front of you, and you don't believe in her. Is that?
Looks like snow.
No, is that?
What?
Looks like dry ice. It can't be snow. What the fuck? Dry ice is the only thing that can do that. That's crazy. Did somebody spill dry ice on the road, which created that fog? Because a dry ice machine makes fog. So they spilled dry ice on the road and ended up creating... That's weird. I wonder if that's happened. That's what I told you the other night. Now you know, like, it's up to you to make the decision. Follow your conscience. Sitting down doing nothing, not an option. I've said that many, many times to you.
I feel like I'm in the middle of everything. Like I wasn't on the middle.
It's not about you. That's the first thing you say?
Because I care about you and I care about her.
Your first concern is for yourself, which to me kind of seems selfish. But
I don't think of myself first. Never did.
Well, you just said it sucks because I'm in the middle of that. So your first thing came across like, well, I'm worried about me because I'm in the middle. And then you were like, because I care about the both of you. And it's like, it's weird, like, okay, I care about this person who you just, I mean, I don't know how many different ways you can learn about how they're a monster. But more importantly, it's like, what about Grammy? What about Gramps? What about every person that she's hurt? What about her victims that are all mostly family members? But there's a whole bunch of people that aren't. But
I don't want to have to, but I don't want to.
That's life. Do you think I want to? You think this is what I had planned out? Like, yeah, I can't wait. You know, never wanted to come down here. Never wanted to be with her. Couldn't wait to get away. And every time I got away, I tried to run into the room and ignore her as much as I could and all that other crap. You know? I wanted her just to go next door and mind her own business and live her own fucking life. She chose this. That's personal responsibility. She has to own it. There was 100 million different decisions that she could have made that wouldn't have gotten her to this point. Every time she walked in the door, she didn't have to scream at somebody. Everything she did, she didn't have to be, I need to totally run your life. I need to totally run your life. I need to totally run your life. I need whatever it is. Like hand over all autonomy to me. Blah 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 blah. Like if the buck's gonna stop with you and shit's gonna go bad, then guess what? If it goes great, then you can take all the credit and the glory. But if it goes bad, then guess what? You can't royally fuck it up and then be like, you know what? Not my fault. You wouldn't let anybody help. You wouldn't let anybody touch. Everybody was giving you suggestions saying, it might not be the right way. No, shut up. I don't care. This is my show. Fine. It's your show. And when it goes south, guess what? You're holding the bag. You chose to hold the bag. She wouldn't let me hold the bag. She wouldn't let me make any decisions. She wouldn't let me give my 2 cents. I even said so much as, you know what? Graham should try taking like white willow bark. Or Graham's everything he's doing is just fine. It's perfect. He doesn't need to change nothing. Okay, yeah, it's perfect. He'll live forever. No adjustments needed. Sure. Said can't keep him on antibiotics forever. You got to put him on probiotics because you got to build up that immune system because he's taking too many antibiotics. Yeah. Okay. He never did get probiotics that really built him up. There's some that have like 12 billion counts. There's some that are like 1 billion. There's some that have like 60 billion. And there's some that have like 7 strains. And there's some that have 2 strains. Whatever. You need a broad, multi-spectrum one that gives you like dozens of billions. You can't just eat a yogurt that has 500 million of one strain. And then be like, there you go, you got some antibiotics or some probiotics. What? You would have to eat like 100 yogurts. One yogurt? Even if you took a supplement, okay, you had a pill. Did you research the pill? How much is in the pill? I researched mine. I know which one's the best. I see he's not taking the one I'm taking. So he's taking something worse than he could be taking. But you won't let me suggest a better one. Because I don't know what the hell I'm talking about. So instead of getting 60 billion, he's getting what? 35? 20? Okay, he could be getting double. How do we know that the extra 30 wouldn't have been enough to build him up enough so he wouldn't have got another infection? If we got 30 extra a day times X number of days, that's hundreds of billions. Maybe it wouldn't have. But maybe it would. But that's the point. It's I'm not listening. I don't care what you have to say. My show. Okay, it is. But when it goes wrong, and it's proven that there's a better way, and you refuse to listen, you're holding the bag. You chose that. That's your responsibility. Just like if it had been the other way around, and I was making decisions, I would blame myself. I'd be like, you know what could I have done more? Could I have done better? I would be questioning myself. But I would have made sure to have done everything during the time as best I could. I would have spent more time being on the computer, researching and checking things out, and less time with my hands fucking together, wishing. Doesn't deny any of your First Amendment protected rights or anything like that. But when you pray and you don't go get medical care, then you are denying a person their ability to get better. And putting your religion before that. That is illegal.
Well, I know Graham's going to go to the hospital.
Ultimately, Graham did whatever Kelly told him to do. You need to go poopies now? Time to go poopies? Yep, I do. You want to watch some TV now? Yep, I do. Is it time to take a nap now? You going to take a nap now? Yep, I do. Whatever she said to him, that's what he yep, I do. You want to make me to make this food for you tonight? Yep, I do. He didn't argue. He never said, no. It's not. She put an idea in his head, and she, you know, she had a way of saying it. You know, Gramps, if you don't sleep now or go to bed now, you know you're going to be tired. Like when we were watching the Super Bowl, I remember, you know, I came out, Cody and them were already watching the Super Bowl. That was Gramps and Cody's thing. I came out, I was working that day, I came home, they were sitting there, so I was like, well, hell, he never watches a game with me. I'd like to spend time with Gramps, so hell, I watched Super Bowl with them. You know, came in, sat down or whatever it was, right? Remember, that was the day that she got mad about me cleaning up my mess with her. I didn't even have a mess. It was her son that had a mess, and she yelled at you about you need to clean up your son's mess or some bullshit, right? And I didn't have a mess. And I was like, what the fuck? See, that's what I'm talking about. What the fuck is she on about? And then Gramps was the one that sat down and said, no, I want to watch this. That was his choice and decision to do that. And she kept telling him, Gramps, you need to tell them to shut up so that you can go to bed. As if he didn't have the autonomy or the brain to say, guys, I'm tired, I'm going to go to bed. We've watched 100 games out there. Gramps always says, like, alright, when the fourth quarter's over or whatever, or the third quarter's over, or it's 10 o'clock now, whatever, I'm going to bed. I'm not going to finish the game. He gets up and leaves whenever he wants to leave. He never finishes the game if it goes on. He's a grown-ass man. He knows how to do that. But that's not how she treats him. She comes in and says, oh, they're talking. I don't like that they're talking. They're having too good of a time. This pisses me off. So I'm going to tell Gramps that this is what he needs to do so that Gramps can tell them, or they can hear me saying it over them because they're sitting in the room, and this is a passive-aggressive way of me to yell at them indirectly without me actually yelling at them. So I say, Gramps, you need to go to bed early because remember, you got to do this in the morning, and if you don't go to bed now, then you're not going to sleep in the morning, and then you're going to be cranky, and then like treating him like he's a fucking baby, like he doesn't know how to go to sleep and go to wake up and do what he needs to do. So, you know, you need to tell them to stop. And then she gets huffy around and stomps around the house like, oh, everybody's in the fucking house, you know, watching TV, and you guys are keeping Gramps up. We have no ability to keep Gramps up. When Gramps wants to go to bed, he'll go to bed. He doesn't ever stay up from us. That's a complete lie. She knows that, but she has to be overbearing. So she insults him to his face, but he doesn't even know it's an insult. He's just like, oh, Kelly, he's telling me I should be in bed, and I guess it's late, so, you know. But he never considered it being late at that time. He wasn't tired at that time. He wanted to stay up and hang out with us. That's what he wanted. But because Kelly said that, okay, guys, okay, I'm going to go to bed now, because even he doesn't want to hear Kelly bitch. So he gets up, goes to bed, and then, you know, everybody's, now the mood's sucked out of the room. We're all like, oh, no, I guess, Cody's like, oh, you know, I guess I gotta, you know, go to bed, you know, whatever. Like, Cody even said something, he was like, you know, hey, we're just sitting here, like, you know, it's still early, like, Gramps will go to bed, because he was telling her the same thing, like, we all know, that he'll, you know, he always goes to bed when he wants to go to bed, and he said it, like, one day, she goes, I think you forgot who the fuck I am. That was the exact words that came out of her mouth. Who the fuck talks like that? A mob boss? You forgot who the fuck I am? What are you gonna do? Put a hit out on him like you got out on Gramps? Like, if you pay attention to her behaviorisms, her mannerisms, and the exact words that she fucking picks, I told him, I said, I heard you yelling a lot over there. He goes, oh yeah, it was me and Kelly, we were yelling back at the house, you know, like, we're just a couple of New Yorkers. We're real animated, and we just yell across the house at each other. And I was like, huh, that's all it is, right? And he's like, yeah, that's all it is, you know. I was like, okay, Kelly, you know, okay, Cody. You know, he's like, yeah, I'm working on my anger. You know, I'm trying to work on my anger or whatever. I'm like, it's you that needs to work on your anger, right? Like, it's not her. Because if you're both yelling, you're the only one that needs to work on your anger? Doesn't it take two to tango? But you know, she's not known for yelling, right? No. But she's got him convinced that he's the problem. Like there's something wrong with him. That's what I mean. And he's still young. She's been doing that to him since he was a kid. You're a problem. You need to pray. You need to work on yourself. You've got these physical problems. You're awkward. You're clumsy. You're not like your sister. He's got fucking issues already. Doesn't even understand it or realize it. He's just like you, and he loves his mom, despite the abuse. People can love their abusers. It doesn't make it any less abusive. She favors Carly over him. It's blatantly obvious. Oh, Carly does a little girl act. Oh, baby, come here. And then she hugs her and pulls her in. Don't do that, Cody. She can have a cookie or whatever it is. Don't eat that, Cody. Don't touch that. Think about the concept. You know what I'm saying? Like they grow up and then they end up with these issues, and they're like, where do they come from? I can see exactly where they come from. You can't treat your children like two fucking different people. Like this is my favorite and this is the fuck up one, right? Guy has a complex, I'm not good enough, whatever. That's why he talks to everybody and tries to be friendly, and he's trying to make up for it. Like I need to do all this good in the world because I suck inside and I have these demons that I need to get rid of. Like that's how he's approached it. Like luckily he's kind of found like a positive, as best as you can find, kind of outlet to do it. But at the end of the day, it's sad that he even feels that way. And Carly just thinks she's just the hottest shit in the world and can do no wrong. She's the most talented human being that ever existed. She's a mini version of Kelly. And when she gets out into the real world, wow. Like the real world is gonna like humble her. Because nobody likes a person like that. Like, I'm smart, and I'm cute, and I'm talented, and I'm funny, and I know how to do all these things, and actually, let me correct you, because it's this and not that. Holy shit. When she gets out of her little circle, like, she's going to end up having to stay in that circle forever, and when they all grow up and get married and have families and do whatever and wake up to reality, can you see her, finding a man, and like a man telling her what to do? Like, she's girl boss to death. You end up like her mom. Nobody's gonna want to be with her. She'll be single forever. Think she'll have kids? I don't know. If she does, she might get married, have kids, and then end up quickly divorced, and then have to raise them alone. Which, once again, that's the formula for success today now of being a good parent. I feel bad for her. Like, there's no level of her life that's been successful on a basic level. But she gives advice to everyone trying to tell you, be like me. All I see is failure everywhere, on every level.
What would you like me to do this for?
The right thing. For once.
About both of you.
If two people come in to a court of justice, who somebody cares about is irrelevant in the eyes of the law or the eyes of the Lord. The Fifth Amendment doesn't apply the way you think it applies. many situations in which you can be compelled to give testimony. The Fifth Amendment only applies in which you can or will be incriminated. There are ways around that. For example, let's say they offered immunity, then now you can't plead the Fifth. Or let's say that the testimony was a question that was asked in such a way that wouldn't incriminate you because they were asking it about a third party or something along those lines, then the judge would have to say, no, you would have to answer that question because it doesn't incriminate you. Because the Fifth Amendment only is for you to protect your own self-incrimination. So if they're asking you, I'm asking about what this person did, not what you did, you can't plead the Fifth. You have to answer. So when they ask you, you were there, you saw these events, why the fuck didn't you intervene? You know, well, I plead the Fifth. It's like, what? So you're saying that you didn't intervene because you were part of a crime? I plead the Fifth. Okay, we need a recess now. Like, then they're gonna be like, oh shit, like, so she's part of this? Now do we need to prosecute her? You didn't have charges beforehand. Now we're gonna put charges on you because you're starting to plead the Fifth. Like, what the fuck? Like there's all kinds of ways. Like, we weren't even looking at you as a suspect. Now you start pleading the Fifth out of nowhere. That's why, like, you have a lawyer and he tell you, like, that's probably not a smart thing to do. Time and place for certain things. That's what I mean about it. Every time there's a time, you will have to learn law in your life. The earlier the better. Like 12. Before it's too late. There was this guy, his name is LeVar Ball. He's a basketball dad. He's such an asshole. I can't stand him. He brags like, my children are the best, blah, blah, blah. He runs a clothing line, whatever, But you know what? Like, at the end of the day, all three of his kids ended up in the NBA. Like, one of them made over $200 million. Another one's got like $80 million. And another one, I don't know, like, he's also got like maybe $100-something million. Like, they're all rich. They're multi-time millionaires over and over again. All three kids. And the guy has been just a jerk on TV to reporters. He's not necessarily a good man. But now, looking back on it after it's all said and done, when they spoke to him about it, he's like, at the end of the day, you could love me, you could hate me, but I did what any parent should do. I was a good father. I had 3 boys, and they were lean, they were tall, they were athletic, they were fast, so I chose athletics, and I pushed them hard every day in athletics, and I worked them from a young age, personally, hands-on, and I made sure that they had the best that they could have, that I could afford, and I worked hard for that, so that they would have the best shot at being athletic. And now, they're all successful in the NBA. They're all, there's $300+ million, and then we have a corporation like we're on our way to being billionaires as a family, because I made sure to push them athletics. Now, if I had 3 short, nerdy kids or whatever, I would have put them in computers. But I would have still worked just as hard and made sure that they learned coding and programming and gotten on YouTube channels so that my kids could get views. But no matter what, I would make sure that I always created controversy, because that's what sells, so that they could be successful, so that they could be millionaires. Because that's the goal of a parent, is to make sure your kids are successful. So hate me or love me, I'm a good dad. And it was like, shit, man, like, I hate this guy. I really do. I find him annoying. But he's right. He did his job. Like, he raised his kids. They are successful. And he passed them off. And now they flew the coop and they're good. And now he's got 3 kids that are like all 100 millionaires. You can't argue with his strategy. It worked. Not once, not twice, but 3 times. He's 3 for 3. You know what I'm saying? And when you look at other parents that are like, well, nah, you don't need to go to sports. You don't need to, they half-ass shit or whatever, and then their kid comes out mediocre, and it's like, they blame the kid. It's like, no, like, you have to go out there and put the work in, because you're nurturing that egg. You have to go out there and bust your ass every day so that the kid is the best kid. And then when they're 18, they know everything already, and then they can take over. You can't wait till they're 18 and then have them take over. That's not how it works. He was training them since age 4. Let's go out and dribble. Let's dribble. Let's run. Let's go. Like constant shoot. Let's shoot. Let's shoot. Age 6, age 8, age 9. Let's get in these leagues. Let's go. Play your brother every day. Practice with your brother. Practice against your brother. Who's the fastest? Who's the best? Who's the best of the 3 kids? Let's go. He pitted them against each other. He created friendly, healthy competition until they were like so raw that they became just the best. And that's what it takes to become elite, where they can go in the NBA and they were good enough to hang with the best of the best. That's how you do it. But when you don't push your kids that hard, you don't teach them, and you stay on it, you don't do all this stuff, and then you're like, well how come you don't do all this stuff? Like, that's on you. Kids want that. That's why they always ask, can I join sports? Can I do, whatever? And if you think, like, oh, it's just games, or it's just this, or whatever, like, if you dismiss it, and you don't let them chase their dreams and push them really hard to it, they're not going to turn out well. Like, every kid deserves a parent like LeVar Ball. I hate to say it, but if they all had one, the world would be a better place. We'd have a shitload of fucking successful kids, and I wouldn't have to call into customer service and get some schmuck who doesn't know what they're doing. Because even if they ended up being a customer service agent and they had a parent like LeVar Ball, they'd be like, you know what, man? My dad was on my ass, and he always told me, like, never fuck off, and I'm going to handle this call as best as I can. Like, it's the way it is. Like, everybody would just be out there hustling. And what's wrong with that? But it starts with the parents. But everybody blames the kids. But LeVar Ball knew that. He never blamed his kids. He always said, it's on me. He took responsibility. I was like, that's the first parent I've ever seen, other than like the really rich and successful. There's a few of them out there that do that, where they're like, nah, like, I knew I had to like stay on my kids. Like Shaq is like that. He's really rich, but he told his kids, like, I may have $500 million, but you'll never get a penny of it until you get 2 doctor's degrees. You get those 2 degrees, and then you come talk, and we can talk about the money. And then once you got the 2 degrees, I'll give you a portion of my money, and you can invest in whatever business you want to. I will fully be behind you. We'll do all the research on that business. I'll go get the best, smartest, brightest minds, and we'll go 100% in, and you make all the decisions, and I'll back you up, no questions asked, because you went and got the 2 doctorates. Like, once you have the education, I won't question you. Go get the education first, and then you can have my money, and then you can do whatever the hell you want to with my money. That's his parenting style. There's different ways, but it's all the same method, But they all let them do the kids. They all, in the end, the kids all they make the decisions, and the parents don't ever tell the kids what to do. They just shut up and support the kids. What do you need? I got you. But in situations where the parents are like, no, do what I tell you to do. It's this way, not that way. No, you're wrong. The kids always turn out like shit. I couldn't do that at 25, 30, 35. I knew at those ages, nope, I'll fuck it up. I wish every parent was smart enough, like, to wait. Because, hey, you'll fuck it up. But they don't. They're just like, whatever, we'll have kids now. Or, oops, I'm pregnant. Well, guess what? I'm not getting rid of it. Like, no. That's why I'm pro-abortion. I do think time and place. Time and place. But at the end of the day, we all have to face the music. What I don't get is when I told you about Mario and what he did, you were like, oh, I'm sorry, what there, But when I tell you about Kelly, it's I care about her. Didn't you care about Mario?
Yeah, I did.
So why is it different with Kelly?
I guess because she was part of my life ever since I was 12 years old. Mario was only part of my life for a year and a half. I knew there was something, different about him, but I wasn't sure what.
But you didn't think there was something different about Kelly?
I do, but I don't want to accept it, I guess. Just like I didn't want to accept the fact of Mario too. But
So there's see, what does that say now? There's a pattern with you, right? It's not, that's a you thing. Maybe you need to look at yourself in the mirror and have a good hard look and a cry or whatever the fuck else you need to do and be like, my God, why do I keep doing this?
I ask myself that question every single night, every single morning.
And what's the answer you get?
I don't come up with any answers.
You haven't even got close to an answer. You haven't had a theory. You don't have a guess.
All I keep saying is there's something wrong with me. That's all I say.
Okay, so that's a start. So you think, shit, there's things wrong with people in your family, and then there's things wrong with you, and you all kind of come from the same place. So maybe it's not genetic. Maybe it's like, that's what I mean about like, don't you think you should go get therapy? Like, don't you think, like, because hurt people or whatever, aren't you afraid, like, you might hurt someone? Or aren't you afraid, like, don't you want to break the cycle? Don't you want to be better than the rest of them? Don't you want to, like, isn't that, shouldn't that be the motivation to go talk to a professional so that you can say, hey, I see where my mother did this. I see where my mother talked about her mother doing it. I see where I'm doing it. I see where my sister is doing it. I see where other members of my family have got their things. And maybe I don't know all of it because they're secretive. I see where my own child has some shit. No one has not been touched by this. It's like a fucking disease. So, how do I stop it from spreading? You take antibacterials, medicines, right? Whatever it is. I need to go to this therapy. I need to talk to you, the professional, and you need to tell me, how do I mitigate this so it doesn't go any further? How do I make this the last so that I can have the correct relationships with the correct people before I die? And then so my son can have the correct relationships with the correct people before he dies. And then so this can be contained where it's supposed to be contained, and the bad people can be where they are, and the good people can be where they are, and then so we can snip, and there can be, I gotta be an adult making a big boy decision or a big girl decision and go get help because this kid doesn't deserve that. That's what being an adult is. So if you look in the mirror and you come up with that answer, then what's the next step? Isn't that it? What's stopping you from doing that? Because if you don't, ask yourself that question. What happens if I don't? What's the alternative? It can't be good. It's not happy days. So then you know if you don't, bad things can only happen. So you're basically saying, I'm cool with bad things happening. Now that's what the problem comes in, is like, ooh, why would you be cool with bad things happening? So if you get to that thought process, now you have to be like, absolutely no, I don't want bad things to happen. Now I know I have to go see somebody. That's why I talk to people. That's why I have a therapist on my phone. That's why I talk to, I've always either had a therapist, or I have a psychologist, or I have a doctor, or whatever. Somebody at all times I've talked to, or I'm online studying psychology, or looking up, this is what's happening, these are the symptoms, these are the whatever, or, I have, meditative things. Doesn't matter. I have tools, or I've had therapists I've spoken to in the past, whatever it may be. And they've told me things, and I'm like, okay, so this is this, that's that, this is this, and if I go here and I take that, because sometimes it's like medicine, I go to a doctor like Dr. Salome, he tells me, this is what you got, and I learn about it, and then for the next 5 or 10 years, I don't need to keep seeing him. Now I have the answers I need. I can use that to, you don't have to go forever. You learn what you need to learn, and then you apply it. You teach yourself the rest. So I can speak to a therapist, talk to them forever, or some people some people will talk to them forever, and I'm like, you've been talking to a therapist for 25 years, like, are you not better yet? They're like, well, like, what are you saying anything new? Like me, I'll talk to a therapist for like 6 months, and I'm like, look, I've said everything I need to say about 3 times. If you don't have something new for me, like, I've learned all of your tricks and words. Okay, so, like, if you don't have anything else for me, I'm going to take what you've taught me, and then I'm going to go, and now I know all of the things and whatever it is, and I'm going to go research these things, and then I'm going to go see what other therapists have to say about these things, and I'm going to go Google them, search them, and read them, or whatever it is, and I'm going to educate myself, because I'm sure that you're one therapist. You have this wide of a view of the world. But what happens when I go ask 100 more therapists about it? Now I have this wide of a view about it. So now I can play with it and try a whole bunch of stuff and see what else works. Maybe some of the stuff you said was wrong, but you gave me a start. And maybe I might like this better, or maybe this works for me, or maybe that works for me, or whatever it is. And just like health, you mix and match until you find out. You find out this medicine works and this one doesn't. You find out that treatment works and this other treatment works, or it doesn't work. That's what you do, but you got to start. You got to get in the first door first. You got to have the conversation. It's like with Shirley, I had, it took me forever, to where she was like, oh shit, I'm sorry, I could be treating you like shit because I have attachment disorder, disassociation disorder, because of my father and the way he used to be. He was in the Air Force, and then, like, he was never around, and then, like, he died really young, and then I had a stepfather, and my stepfather treated me badly a certain kind of way, so I missed my real dad while my new dad was kind of abusing me. So, I started having these conflicted things with guys, and then so I would go out with a guy, and it's like every time things get good with a guy, I get scared and I sabotage it. That's what attachment dissociation disorder does. So, like Adam's dating a girl that does the same thing, and I keep telling him, he's like, no, we've had 2 great weeks. It's going to be good now. And I'm like, no, Adam, don't you realize, like, the 2 great weeks means that, like, something very bad is about to happen? Now is when you need to have your guard up. He's like, and then sure enough, like 3 days later, like, it'd be nice, and then we would get along for like a month or 2, and then things would start going really well, and then all of a sudden, like, she'd be like, oh my god, I love you, everything's so fantastic, and like, as soon as she'd do that, like, there'd be a day where she'd just start shaking, and just fucking freak the fuck out, and I'm like, okay, calm down, I got this. I'm like, you're just having one of your episodes, you're thinking everything's going on out of control. You're not. You're in the middle of a room. You've been in this room 100 times. It's the same room as it always has. And I'm like, I'm using some of the same techniques I use on myself. Like, I get panic attacks, sit down, just breathe, just whatever, I'm trying to help her get through it. But I just would touch her like that. If I even touched her, she'd be like, and just pull away. Stop. And I'm like, well, no, it's just me, But she just, I want to go home. I want to go home. I want to go home. And I'm like, well, you can't go home like this. You can't drive like this. You drove yourself here. I can't take you in my car. You don't want me to touch you. Like, you got to think, see, she lose all logic. She wouldn't realize, like, she can't leave, and she's stuck here, but she wants to go home, and I'm like, you got to calm down first, and then you can go home if you want to go home. I'm not keeping you here. You're not a prisoner, but she'd have these, she'd go nuts. Because it was just like too good, and in the beginning I didn't understand why she was doing it, and then later on, I was like, after I saw it a few times and whatever, I was like, you need to go get help, and she did the same thing. No, I'm fine. It's just, I get panic attacks sometimes, and I was like, that's not fucking anxiety, like, what I'm saying. I would tell her like that you need more than that, But that's what everybody does. They always minimize it. They blow it off. It's like, okay. Finally, we break up. All this other shit, and then she's all alone. She's got time to herself, and then she starts reflecting, and then she's like, yeah, I'm going to go out and talk to somebody. And then she talks to somebody. She goes to a pastor who happens to be a therapist, and the pastor was like, yeah, that's attachment dissociation disorder. Like, you fucked up. Like, why did you break up with him? Like, he was doing this and that, and blah, blah, blah. Like, he was doing everything he was supposed to do. And, like, you pushed him away. Like, he was being supportive. And she's like, ah, fuck, I know. And it was like, okay. So, and then she's like, I love him so much that I don't want to hurt him. And every time I get close to him, I hurt him. So I want to break up with him because I know if I'm together with him, I'll be happy with him, and if I'm happy with him, I'm going to hurt him. So I have to break up with him so that he's happy. That's how her mind works. So she can't be with me because she's afraid that if she's with me, she'll hurt me. It's attachment disorder. But at least she has an answer, and she knows what it is. And I was like, well, at least you passed the first fucking part. It's not like the first 7 years of our relationship where you were just like, going straight jacket in the goddamn corner. You know what I'm saying? Like, now you know what it is, and you have this answer. So, like, now when we talk to each other, like, it's in small doses. We'll talk, we maybe go out somewhere, but like for an hour or two, and then that's it, we walk away, and then, like, not too much, because, like, I have too much of a good time, and it starts to feel good, or whatever it is. It's like, and I always, to make sure, like, I fuck it up a little bit, I'm like, hey, nah, what, fuck this, da-da-da, because I'm like, see, now you didn't have a good time, you're mad at me, so then you can't feel like it wasn't great, so then, da-da-da, and it's like a joke, so that's what I said, take your weaknesses, wear them as armor, and then it becomes a thing that can't be used against you. So I explained it to her, and I'm like, see, I did that on purpose. Like, I didn't want this to be a perfect day, because if it was a perfect day, you'd hate it. So I ruined the day a little bit, so now you can be mad. So if you're mad, then you can't think it was so great, and if you can't think it's so great, then you can't be mad at me first. And she's like, what? And I said, don't worry, it'll make sense to you later, when your little shit kicks in, and it can't kick in because I beat you to it. And she's like, and then later on, she calls me, and she's like, oh, I get it. Because the crazy voice comes into her head, and when the crazy voice came in, she was like, oh, wait, today wasn't really that great. And I was like, see, so your crazy voice wasn't mad, right? No, see, because I sabotaged it. But see, now I know what to do, because, like, I know exactly what it is. And she's like, God damn it, how are you so smart? Like, how do you know? Like, and I was like,